Okay, welcome everyone. This is the joint meeting for Northwest, Central, and Coastal San Pedro Land Use and Planning. My name is Javier Gonzalez Camarillo. I'm the chair for Central, and one of the hosts, Diana Nave from Northwest, is also a co-host. And we could do some quick introductions. We'll start on that end of the table.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Rosales Ramirez, LA County Sanitation Districts.
Elise Swanson, Coastal San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Land Use, and my day job is the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce.
Lynn Alexander, Northwest Land Use Committee.
Adele Healy, Coastal Land Use Committee.
Claudia Vasquez, I'm here with Maria, with the LACSC.
Tom Norman, I'm with Northwest on this committee and report and environmental sustainability. Day job, I teach at Dominguez Hills.
Pat Nave, Northwest Land Use Planning Committee.
And Diana Nave, Northwest Planning Land Use.
Hi, I'm Bill Cockrum with Jen Cockrum Partners, here to present the project, the San Pedro Courthouse redevelopment project.
All right, then we'll do quick run of the people online.
I'm Alan Franz. I'm with the Coastal San Pedro Planning and Land Use Committee.
Thanks, Alan. James?
James?
Yes, hi, James Campo, coastal longtime resident and activist. Thank you.
And we got a couple of people in the audience. If you want to introduce yourself. Jerry and Kelly.
Jerry, you want to introduce yourself? A lot of talk.
Yeah. No? Okay, very well. We'll
And then
Get 'em.
Pat, there's Kelly Patrick. Want to introduce yourself, Kelly?
I allowed both of them.
No. Okay, let's go on.
All right, well, we'll get started. Our first item, we have a presentation on the courthouse update and some information that Bill Cockrum is gonna share with us.
Great, thank you very much. And I brought a couple of visual aids, just that maybe some of you that aren't familiar with what the project is or how it's entitled, so I thought that might be helpful. I haven't pointed at the camera, so if you can't see,
Yeah,
maybe you can see them there. And so the project is 300 apartments over approximately 30,000 square feet of retail and about 500 parking spaces. It was entitled, we started, there was an RFP in 2018 that we were selected by the county to develop this. And over the next couple of years, put in place documentation with the county as well as entitled the project. It was entitled at the end of 2020 for 300 units over about 26,000 square feet of retail, I think was the precise number, and a little over 500 parking spaces. And it's conforming, and it was designed to conform completely with the CPIO. And the entitlements on the project remain active until into 2026. Because there was also tolling with the city that then expired through the end of February of last year for COVID. And so then they would stay in place for that period of time without any other extensions or actions. After entitlement, we then worked through the kind of pre-construction process of putting in place and full design drawings. So there's full construction drawings for the project now completed that have been fully integrated with subcontractors and general contractors for all subtrades, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Effectively, the project's sitting in a status that it's ready to issue building permits, subject to paying kind of final fees and posting bonds. Which is where we got to last summer. What also occurred was the financing market for new development and valuations for apartments also changed dramatically in last year. So as we went to go to proceed towards closing construction financing, we found an equity market for construction that had basically evaporated. Which we believe is a short-term problem. We continue to have our construction loan. Our construction loan source of financing has been the construction union trades pension funds and a variety of managers. So of the project, there are a few requirements with the county that the project meets, which we've also been supportive of. One is it'll be built with union construction trade labor 100%. It also has 20% affordable housing units set at 80% AMI. It's not a requirement of the entitlements. It's really the county, and we agreed to do that. But that's also a requirement of the project. And those are probably the two largest kind of pieces. Also on the ground floor, the intent of the project all along was to also create a ground floor experience that would also be a benefit for the downtown kind of revitalization. And so that rather than being kind of what you may see in some other projects, kind of a minimalist retail that may still even be empty, trying to do something more vibrant and significant that would be a draw to the downtown as opposed to something else. And so there was also a requirement with the county, as we had proposed a couple of uses for the ground floor, which was would include either a market. And we did a fair amount of research as we were designing the ground floor and going through our construction drawings, reaching out to a variety of grocery store potential users. The space on the corner of 6th and Center was actually designed to accommodate a Trader Joe's. It's an 18,000 square foot box. We did talk with them and they were not interested. They felt like it would cannibalize their site up on Western. And for the most part, the grocers had two main objections to the site. One is that the harbor is in the trade area, so they felt like they're missing half of the trade area. It doesn't have, isn't populated in the same way. And the other is, typically they're looking for high volume streets with stoplights as a location. And so this site doesn't meet that criteria for them. And so we felt it was too difficult to kind of build a giant ground floor empty box without having a tenant. So we pivoted to food hall. So that also integrated into the construction drawings is a primarily, let's see, what is it? It's about 25,000 feet of it is a food hall on the corner of 5th and Center. And I can show you a couple more, these are just images, and some of this is just for imagery. This gives you a sense of the residential above and the ground floor. Let's see.
Can you turn so we can see it?
Yeah, let me show you this. This is a computer generated image. This is wood frame, the top 5 floors, the bottom floor is concrete, as this is all a concrete podium. And the ground floor is actually fairly challenging from a design perspective. There's 20 feet of height change to the site from one end to the other. So integrating all of this and figuring out how to program it, get the driveways in, get all of the utilities in, electrical vault, all of that stuff and make it all fit actually took a fair amount of time. But the intent was this would open up onto 6th Street and be kind of a large draw. And then this is one image of the inside, and it's probably a much larger presentation to talk about what it is, but it's a 2-story space. Given the 20-foot height change, the corner on 5th and Center is the low point effectively. And so this gave for this large volume space and then creating rooms and spaces around it so that it has effectively 14 different small kitchens built into it to provide variety of food, and then gathering spaces, locations for live music, to activate it and make it a gathering place that really becomes a draw for the downtown and a community benefit. And then also on the corner of Fifth and Center. The corner of Fifth and Center also has it's designed for really a white tablecloth restaurant with kind of a appropriate kitchen for with an appropriate kitchen for doing really kind of fine dining cooking is also kind of a piece out of it.
Yeah.
So overall for the project, that's kind of what's programmed in, so that it's in the base building design, so that it would open, unlike what you see on many projects as well, can be that the ground floor retail lags at least a year or two beyond when the project opens. It would open at the same time as the apartments all at once. But in terms of the financing, there are a few challenges for the project we've had to overcome. One, we're competing for equity financing effectively for now, taking it from the state it's in now to starting construction. And roughly it's a $200 million project. Debt financing is $140 million. And we need to have a joint venture partner fund the remaining equity, which is around $50 million to start construction. And so that's the piece that we're missing. We have lots of interested parties, and everybody has slightly different criteria of what they'd like to see. But generally have a profitability benchmark they're looking for us to achieve, which we're in the neighborhood of, but we're not quite there. So we're trying to solve it in a few different ways. One is we're spending time talking with the construction trades. There is flexibility in different kinds of wage rates, commercial versus residential, that relate to the cost, which could be quite significant. We're talking with the county about ways to potentially modify the agreements that we have with them to make this more financially viable in short term. Both of those are significant and seem to be putting us within striking range of where we could move forward. You never know. You can go back to an investor that says, "Oh, I need you to hit this threshold." You come back to them and say, "Yes, we made it." And they say, "Oh, good. Now I want you to do the next thing." It's a very conservative environment right now where there's a lot of fear of what just changed because it's so rapid of making decisions, especially a big decision of this magnitude. In terms of the submarket, West Harbor is very significant. The grand opening next year is a major benchmark, and effectively you have an improving submarket, which is terrific. The biggest challenge relative to the rent is really we have nationally and locally much greater than average supply of new units that's come to market. Even though we're underserved in housing generally in Los Angeles, the amount of new housing, especially generally new housing is kind of the top end of the market, if you will. And older product, as it gets older, becomes more affordable and works through that. There is obviously new affordable product that's developed as well, but you end up competing for your leasing with other new development. And so you're here in San Pedro, you're competing with Long Beach, and you're competing with downtown Los Angeles for tenants that will consider those locations and kind of areas in between, but primarily for this similar kind of apartment. And the supply that's come to market, there's heavy pressure generally on most new development that it's built with a construction loan that matures within 3 to 5 years. And those developers then need to lease up the project and convert it into a permanent loan. And with all of this supply, there's a huge amount of pressure to just lease these units. And so rents are down. While there's maybe some headlines you've seen in LA Times saying rents are flat or whatnot, rents here for 550 Harborfront relative to last year are down about 9%.
Wow.
And across going over to Long Beach into comps, it's maybe down 7 or 8%. So, and which is this short, and beyond the asking rents coming down, you're also seeing 2 months of free rent, which is almost like another 10–12% down in terms of cash flow. So, but those deliveries are all occurring pretty much this year. So they'll be delivered, they'll get leased up, and this dynamic will actually snap back up. So there should be kind of a hockey stick recovery kind of idea where it's kind of flat and you don't know exactly when it's going to happen. But seeing some signs of that recovery is from the equity side, would like to see kind of seeing that at least starting or getting there. Could that take 3 months, 6 months? Don't know, but there's probably some period of time that it's very helpful with that, and it helps the math, instantly start working. So that's a visible, you can kind of see it and know it's going to change, but today we're sitting kind of in the middle of it. And probably likely for San Pedro with the 2 projects that are opening on 5th Street that are about 240 units. It'll probably in the short term, in the very near term, in the next 3 to 6 months, probably get worse, not better, and then it'll get much better. At that level, you may not even see it in other apartments that are at different levels or older product, but the kind of the new apartments are all kind of competing for the same renter. So, in terms of challenges of what we're facing and timing, we're trying to position ourselves to start the project as fast as possible. And, the combination of lowering costs, not just waiting for the market to recover, but do everything we can in the interim to be positioned to do that. And also working with the county and also making sure they're comfortable that we're doing everything we can and they're applying pressure to us to go as quickly as we can. But that we're positioned to actually be able to start, be kind of the first out of the box when conditions are returning, which seems likely, that there's a very, very high probability that that could be the case next year at some point, and that this kind of dynamic will in some way self-correct, and the work we're doing to make the project more profitable will help us be at the front end of that. So I don't know, hopefully that's not too long-winded, but it gives you a sense of kind of some of the challenges we're facing.
Yeah, that's, helpful for me to get a sense with I didn't know the rents were down 9%, and what type of unit is that, or what's the average cost of those types of units?
Let me follow up with you on what those are, because I can give you the precise numbers, but in general, it's across the board. It's going, most all of these projects have a mix of studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. The majority of the units tend to be 1s and 2 bedrooms. Right. But if you look on the asking rents, even if you can look online at what's at 550 Harborfront, relative to what they were a little over a year ago, it's down about 9%.
That's quite a haircut. Are you planning on doing any penthouse, really high-end top floor units?
We haven't, we have the 20% affordable units, and the remaining rents generally for the market, even though these are new, kind of fall within, if you will, almost kind of workforce housing, I think up to around 120% of AMI. The question of, there's always been a question, could we do the top floor as something more of a penthouse kind of idea and upscale it? It's not really a proven idea. It might be something organically that's done over time as opposed to doing it up front. And it always could be upgraded as well to do that. The ceiling heights are a little taller on the top floor, which really wasn't that much of an incremental cost, but it left that optionality. But it's not in kind of a base building plan to do that.
I don't know where I heard it. I've heard it from a couple of sources that the deal had been killed.
Oh, I'm still here.
But it's, do you have a deadline date? I guess you said 2026 or something. And how does that relate to the project? Is there a drop dead date or anything like that?
We're going to keep working until the project gets done. There is risk that we have that the county at some point could lose patience with us. But I think, we've spent a lot of time with staff and with their consultant. And I think there's an understanding that this is kind of a macro issue. It's not something we necessarily did. That certainly doesn't stop them from wanting to apply a lot of pressure to us to go as fast as we can. That would be the primary risk probably, is that the county ultimately decided they want to do something else with the property.
Yes, Elise.
So Bill, with my day hat, I just want to say thank you so much for the work that your team has done in outreach and working with the community on this concept. As I've discussed with you, I've visited Mother's Road in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is a similar ground floor concept with the kitchens and the training and the entertainment. It's a fabulous concept, and it just would be so amazing to have it here in downtown San Pedro. And of course, I think we still need the housing, and I think you're right, it's gonna work itself out. But I'm just wondering, and we've been together, all of us, for so long as a community, working with you through this process. And I'm just wondering, what can we do to support you? I'm speaking for myself right now, but it's such a great project and so many exciting components, and we understand the struggle that you're in, but I know you're in negotiations, but letters, what do you think would be beneficial, or should we just wait to hear from you as, you go down this road of trying to get the financing squared away?
It's a good question. I think for us, we're trying to do everything that we can relative to the cost side, the revenue side, with the investors. I don't know what quite the right answer is. That I think the only other place would be, I assume it's helpful in some regard to the extent the county still understands that, the community is interested in the project.
Right.
If it wasn't something that you wanted, I don't think the county would want it either.
Right. And there is a lot of interest in the project. From people I talk to that really look forward to it. So that's what I was wondering. I want to make sure that people at the county level do understand we're still very interested in seeing this happen.
But there's, I'm not quite sure the right way to do that.
Okay.
And I don't want to there's quite a number of different groups that I interface with the county, and I don't want to necessarily go about that in a way that isn't appropriate for the county to receive. And I don't know necessarily how to navigate that perfectly.
Right.
County's retirement pension funds have invested in real property investments too. And are they permitted to be an equity partner that you're looking for in a project like this?
I believe they would be. I think they do have a mandate to invest locally. Typically they invest through managers. So they would have a series of real estate managers that would make investments on their behalf. We have engaged Newmark, which is one of the large brokerage firms, which is also reaching out to capital in addition to our own relationships, to make sure we're kind of reaching out as broadly and widely. And sometimes there are new investors that come into the marketplace, especially in times like this where there's so much change, that they would be aware of that we may not be aware of. I don't know if anyone's specifically reached out to Lacera directly. I think it would be unlikely that they would directly invest in the project, but they would do it through kind of one of their investment managers. But that's something we can certainly investigate.
But Lisa, on the way down here, I was wondering, how come we don't have somebody from the county in here too, to talk to us about this? Somebody that we could, I don't have any problem pressuring.
I think from a fiduciary perspective, they can't really pressure the pension fund to make an investment because you get into.
I don't have any problem pressuring people.
So the two individuals that we've spoken with over the years on the project are Jamie Wilson and Doritza. I'm blanking on Doritza's last name, Public Works, who's been working on the project.
She works in supervisor's office.
Yes.
And I'm see if I can tell you.
Yeah. Those are the two individuals that we've been speaking with.
Well, it could be that just as we run into Janice from time to time, just no pressure, just saying, oh, I can't wait. I'm not complaining.
Right, no,
Wishing
right.
against the county, but just.
His last name's Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Kind of building on Elise's question, what can we do for this project? How important do you think more regular transportation to downtown LA or Long Beach or other areas you talked about. Long Beach, downtown LA are competitors. 25 years ago, I was a commercial banker for like 10 years in Minnesota. So I'm trying to get a sense of your projections. Are you projecting your one bedroom for a 2,000 or, because I would say, hearing that Pat was worried about the viability too, right? I could see this as a challenging thing. So trying to get a sense of the rent you're getting and the incremental things we could do to say it would be worth the 2,200 if that's what you're projecting you need to get the equity investors involved, or maybe it's not. That's come up in this committee a lot. Parking, transportation are things the community cares about. But if we put more pressure on the city to make more regular routes, that could be advantageous to people looking to.
I know there's a desire and I think there are lots of benefits of kind of transportation. For the most part, I think there's still a view for San Pedro or people that are working here, they're still driving to their job most likely. Especially for this, the rents are somewhere between 2,000 to 4,000, depending on what the unit is in the building and size and floor and views and all that kind of stuff. And
is there a space, just because I apologize if this isn't a packet, does every one bedroom, two bedroom get a dedicated space for parking?
Yeah, there are 300 units, there's 500 parking spaces. Technically, we entitled it to match zoning. You may think this may be my question, if this really makes sense. But the zoning for the parking, it's about 450 of the spaces go to the apartments. We think that's more than what's needed. We entitled it that way because it was basically by right entitlement. If we actually tried to change it, we'd have to go through a different process. And the amount of parking required for the commercial is only about 50 spaces. We looked at it practically that's not how we were going to actually operate the building. We figured we needed, 350 spaces for the apartments. We weren't 100% sure. The remaining spaces we practically used for the commercial side. So it worked from a design perspective, but the entitlements don't match what probably the practicality is.
Thank you.
I think the excitement, I think is lifestyle of being here, the quality of life of being in San Pedro, what's going on in the waterfront. I think the only real challenge is kind of this kind of rent dynamic, which isn't something I don't know that you guys can do much to correct necessarily. That'll be kind of a self-correcting market dynamic that should occur over the next 12 months. And it doesn't have to fully correct, it's more of signs of it. And even where interest rates have gone up so high, it's not that interest rates need to come down. I think emotionally, just having a rate cut changes people's view of, oh, we started that. So we're really looking for kind of a change as opposed to necessarily it has to get there. And the project's much more, and most development projects are much more impacted by long-term rates than short-term rates. So even though the short-term rates will drop, what really kind of disrupted the market was when the 10-year hit 5% last year, much more so than what had gone on in the short-term rates, because the 10-year had stayed lower. It was like in the low 4s. And when it charged up 75 basis points and hit 5%, it changed valuations for real estate broadly in a very quick manner. And that created probably much more disruption than anything else when that actually occurred. Yeah.
This is just out of curiosity. I know you've done a number of very large developments such as this one. Are these challenges what you've encountered before, or are these a new set of dynamics you have to work with?
Generally, somewhere between every 10 to 20 years, there's some major disruptions that occur in the real estate markets.
Yep, we know about that.
And this is one of them. It's probably, the last one in kind of the 08, 09 hit home, so you felt it a lot more, personally. That isn't the case here. Now you've probably got a locked in mortgage, and you're feeling, pretty good, and you feel pretty insulated from, if you do have that from what's going on with short-term interest rates. So that's not felt so much. The office building disruption's been more obvious.
Yeah.
Most office buildings that were acquired in the last 5 years are worth less than the deck.
Yeah.
Just across the board, and it's almost every office building you see.
With all the work,
which is a real mess.
working at home, it's totally changed the dynamics of
Yeah, so,
viable small retail.
so it had a huge demand.
Mhm.
Multifamily has a supply problem effectively. That was unexpected, that the amount of deliveries that are being delivered are well above what would be kind of normally absorbed in the market, even though we have kind of long-term pent-up demand and we have a housing shortage. In the short term, we just have too much being delivered to be practically absorbed. That's what will correct, but it's exacerbating the problems of what occurred with the interest rates. The two occurring at the exact same time made it worse, and it's been kind of a surprise that multifamily is kind of in a similar bucket, not as extreme as office, but it's starting to come up in Fed meeting minutes and talking about various banks exposures, and it's meaningful.
Bill, I know the project is entitled as a rental project. Was there ever a consideration of making it a for sale project?
It's something I think more broadly that's even being considered by developers in general. From California's perspective, you have a few challenges for condominiums. One is we limit deposits in California to generally 3% at risk. So you're effectively selling your building up front before you start constructing it. Your costs can go up and you can't get any more revenue. And so it's a tough dynamic to build into unless you have a really big profit margin on the project to absorb that kind of adversity. There's a 10-year construction defect tail liability that can be managed, but it's frightening for a lot of people, including a lot of the general contractors want to put into their contracts that you won't actually sell condos. A number of sources of financing don't want to finance because they don't want to take the risk on. There are ways to insure around it. But again, it lends itself to creating bigger profit margins. The market hasn't quite gone there. I mean, the other thing you saw in the 70s and 80s where there was this big of a spread between kind of rental and home values is apartment conversions to condos. But those dynamics are kind of holding that back. But I think it's starting to be looked at a little bit more, but
I like that.
it's very hard for construction financing for this, even on the debts, the lending side, the equity side, and the general contractors all are risk averse to wanting to take on those risks.
Yeah, I've had clients that kept the property for 10 years as rentals, and then they go on sale after.
Right after the tail.
Yeah.
The smartest way.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing for everybody that's liable because there's so many big lawsuits that, get everybody in trouble. So
Yeah.
But for the moment, we haven't contemplated that. The primary change that would need to occur for that would be to put a condominium map, which I think would come before you as a discretionary item. I'm not sure, but would need that on the property to do that.
yeah, the only reason I was asking is because there seems to be a lot of rental properties, but very few that are for sale. So I think that's a fair market.
And and I've seen a couple that have gotten developed where they did get developed, and then once they were built, but even the general contractors, general contractors are even putting in their contracts that you will not convert it to condominiums for 10 years.
10 years. We, have had so many of the developers that are doing projects or wishing to do projects downtown. And I have asked every single one of them, because we really do encourage home ownership or condo ownership, townhome ownership.
Yeah.
And it's universal, the fear of the lawsuits. And isn't that a shame?
Well, the other thing, which is why it might change, is that the difference in value is getting so extreme. There is an aspect that the profit that's inherent in it may cause that to be overcome. But you're right. Right now, fear is overcoming. You get this, argument between fear and effectively greed. That greed would be what would overwhelm it to make it happen.
Good. Yeah.
Very
Let's
good.
look at requests, people looking for condos in the harbor area.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
New
think
product,
great.
newer product.
Yeah.
I remember looking for sale properties in downtown LA, and everything had just turned into rental. So difficult to find, but
Thank you.
anybody else getting more comment?
Well, thank you. Oh,
Um,
wait, I see a hand.
James,
James Campo.
Thank you, Bill, for your presentation, and I appreciate you keeping the property, if you have anything to do with that, clean and the way it looks. I think it's very nice for San Pedro as opposed to 1309 Pacific. And thank you very much. It looks clean. There's no construction mess, fencing up there, or no homeless on the property. So thank you.
We've tried, I know it's not perfect, you always do better, but we've tried to where there's signage on fencing or any kind of graffiti that's not covered by the bid. We've tried to correct as quickly as we've become aware of it, and also clean up the site in advance of any kind of bigger festivities that are going on in San Pedro. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. It has been something that we've tried to do, and and we'll continue to do.
Thank you.
great.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Bill.
I appreciate it. It was excellent.
Spending some
Thank
time
you.
with us.
And feel free to reach out to the extent there are questions or ideas or thoughts. We're gonna keep working to get this done, so it's.
Just kind of keep us posted on your
Yeah.
progress if you would, just email us, let us know.
I know where to find him. Board of directors, so I see him the third Wednesday of the month. so.
Very good.
It's
Very good.
exciting that you're staying in this project.
Yes.
We're vested in the project, and we're working hard at it. It's frustrating because it is an environment that basically the financing basically stops. So normally it's a predictable market where you get a project to this stage, there are a variety of investors, you can kind of go out, you're shopping them against each other, you get a set of terms and you can kind of move forward. But it will return, it'll be back. There's still the need for housing here. So it's not that that's going
Right.
to change, and this will, one way or the other, kind of the combination of the rent piece and our kind of continued efforts on just kind of optimizing the project, at some point that crossover will occur. And I think it'll happen fairly quickly. I'd be surprised if that's not possible next year.
We hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much. Very good. We're gonna move on to our next item on the agenda, and we have Maria Rosales Ramirez and Claudia Vasquez to give us an update on the Clearwater project.
Thank you. And just let me give you a minute to share my presentation for our online. people.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee.
Well, for heaven's
Can you
sake.
do it over?
Give yourself his presentation.
did. Why don't we give you a cup of coffee?
Excellent presentation.
I thought it was great. Yes, I said that.
I expected to see you here for it, actually.
Great. Talk size.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for the kind introduction. You mentioned my name is Maria Rosales Ramirez with the LA County Sanitation District. And I'm here to give you an update on the Clearwater project, which you guys are very familiar with, probably more than I am. But if you're wondering where Basil, Hewitt, or Glenn Acosta are, they're retired now.
Oh, is that right?
They retired as of the beginning. Basil as of December, and Glenn, he got the retiree fever and he retired shortly after. So
Wow.
I just followed up with them last week and they're enjoying retirement life. So they're in a good place. So now it's on me to give you guys an update on the project. I believe the last time Glenn was here was in April, maybe sometime in the spring. So I'm just looking forward to sharing where we are today. So I know, just for the benefit of our online guests or anybody who's not familiar with our project, the sanitation districts manage the wastewater for half of LA County, pretty much outside the city of LA. And in particular, we're looking at the Warren facility, which serves the lower half of the LA County. This facility is very important to us. This facility is very important to us because it actually serves 5.5 million people within LA County. It doesn't look it, but it is. You drive down to 110, you were able to see it just south of the Target on Sepulveda. We're actually having a public tour on August 3rd, where we're actually going to be driving around for an hour and a half, trying to see everything that the facility offers. So I always, this could be a presentation all on its own. So I'm gonna just take my word if you guys want to go and have the
Are
information.
you telling people they could come to that public tour?
Because-
Because it is a fascinating tour.
Have you been on the tour?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't taken it and you have the opportunity, I would go.
I visited when this was a germ of an idea.
Oh.
How many decades ago was that?
Well, the origin of the Warren facility used to be called the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant. It dates back to 1928. So.
Well, no, I wasn't here
But you
then.
weren't there, but it's changed a lot since then. So a lot of people are surprised to know that it's been serving the community for that long. So, for us, this facility, like I said, it does so much more than wastewater treatment. It does nutrient recycling. It has an energy facility, food waste recycling, nutrient recycling. So it does a lot. And for us, it is optimal to make sure that this facility keeps operating. It is a large facility that serves pretty much half of the county. So, as you're familiar, the Clearwater project involves creating a third tunnel to make sure that the clean water leaves the Warren facility and makes it out to our outfalls in Royal Palms Beach. You may remember that the reason we're building the new tunnel is to make sure that we address aging infrastructure. These tunnels have been working every day of their lives since 1938, 1953. Also seismic concerns. These tunnels were built before there were even seismic standards. We can address that now. And also manage major storm events. So every time that it rains, the water gets into the wastewater treatment system, into the sewer system. And because we're a regional system, it goes down to Warren. So in February, when we had the atmospheric river, we were like really close to hitting our maximum for the capacity for the facility. So the tunnels allow the water to leave out to Royal Palms earlier. So these are all the reasons why we're building this third tunnel, which we already started building. So just for the benefit of our crowd, how do we build a tunnel? Well, back then it wasn't much of a big deal because there was hardly anything there. So we were able to excavate and build our tunnel that way. These are actual pictures of the tunnel being built. So these are workers. I wish you knew their names, but just to point out how things have changed. Jennifer's not even wearing a shirt. So these are our actual workers. A lot of manual force, dynamite trenching. But that's the old way of building a tunnel. That is not the way we build a tunnel now. We have technology on our side. So the way you build a modern tunnel is a tunnel boring machine, or TBM, which you guys, Glenn has introduced in the past. Well, when I explain this to kids, I always explain it like a mechanical worm, because a worm burrows in the ground, then it makes a tunnel. This is our transformer worm. This is how we're building a tunnel. So we have our very own tunnel boring machine. This is, we call her Rachel. She's being built in pieces, and I know my video is kind of buffering, but this project started in we started building the shaft set in 2019, and we started in 2020, we started assembling our tunnel boring machine piece by piece. And we actually started drilling in January 2022. Remember, this is a 7-mile tunnel that has to make it all the way out to Royal Palms. So I believe, let's see, so we started here. The last time that Glenn presented, you guys were probably around mile 2, so somewhere on Gaffey, probably. Mile 2.
Around Target, I think.
Around Target, so I don't think you guys had hit Target yet.
Oh,
You were
okay,
on your way to Target. So where are we now? So currently, we're actually on Western and Capitol, so we hit mile 4. So we're making this map is a little deceiving, though. It makes it look like it's really short, but you really got 3 miles left to go. It's just the angle. As we're moving forward, though, we're kind of hitting the nitty-gritty part of the project. Prior to hitting Capitol Drive, it was soft soil, is what we done with. It's soft soil, and it was relatively shallow depth of 50 to 70 feet deep. But now, as we're getting into the peninsula, we're hitting bedrock. We're actually currently 380 feet below ground near Western and Capitol. So it's a big mountain. The mountain is real. Like, you don't see it maybe if you're driving, but it's really there. So I'm really hoping that my video doesn't buffers well for me, but I apologize. This might give you a little bit of like a let's see, it might give you a little bit of a headache, but it's supposed to be a fun video. Play it for here. So we left the Warren facility. We went up down Figueroa. We went underneath the 110 freeway. It looks much better over here. You guys want to figure this out. We went down Oh, yeah. Yeah, you probably just, I should just look at over here. We went underneath the golf course, underneath Machado Lake.
Oh, wow.
We had a pit stop for maintenance. Then we went up Gaffey, which is where you guys were making your way towards Target. So we did all of that, stopped at a pit stop for maintenance, kept going. I know they speed it really fast, but it really goes only 50 to 70 feet a day. So this is like really this sped up version. Then we took like a big semi turn to Target. We went through there. We went up Capitol Drive, right in the middle of the street, as you can see. We went through the homes, sped really fast through there. Again, this was soft soil, so we were doing really well. Now we've hit Western, which we cut through the parking lot, and we're actually on Western right now, just about here. So we're 4.1 miles really. And that's where currently the tunnel boring machine is right now.
I can remember when this first came out, everybody was so, the noise and the chaos, it was, I mean, you don't even know.
If you didn't feel it at 50, 40 feet
Yeah.
down, you're not gonna feel it 380 feet below ground. And that's actually one of the questions. Could I hear it? No. Can you feel it? No. Was there a question?
Oh, Mona, did you have a question?
No,
Oh, sorry. No, I apologize. I unmuted.
I had a question now. Now that you've reached Weston, are you gonna take down those sensors that you have on?
Yes, the sensors get pulled down, but they don't get pulled down right away. So they just kind of pull them down.
Will you put new sensors up on Western?
No, the sensors that are there, we're probably gonna stay put, and then they're gonna start putting them close to Royal Palms. It's way too deep
Okay.
to drill down there.
People were very confused about them. We've had
Yeah.
so many questions about them. Yeah.
They were put way ahead of time. So let's say you're gonna start drilling 3 months from now, you put those, way in advance, and then you don't take them off right away. So it kind of gives the impression that you're still there, but you're not. They just take a while to
I
remove.
never even noticed.
We had people contact, they thought they were some kind of camera.
Oh,
And they wondered if they were taking license plates or what the purpose. We had a number of.
interesting. We never heard. One you could see down the 110 freeway was on the freeway wall, on that base wall. So every time I drive there, I'd see it. I'm like, oh, it's still there. I don't know, it's still there.
I contacted Glenn at the time and because I suspected that's what it was.
So this slide right here, just a lot of times people are curious, what does the inside of the tunnel look like? And that's the picture on the left. I like to describe it as Legos. They're little panel walls being put together. And then I'll play it. Let's see if it works. This is just a video of what the first mile looks like, because people are curious to know, how does the tunnel boring machine look inside? I know Glenn explains before how it's like a moving city that we're able to, take all our stuff. So it's gonna go fast now. I'll move over here. So it's just walls, and you see the tubes on the side that carry our ventilation, electricity, air, sensor supplies, all that stuff. So that's what the tunnel looks like. So right now you're standing at the edge of the tunnel. You have a bit of a ride to get to the front of the project.
Go back. This is inside the tunnel. What are we looking at?
This is what?
The one on the left, this is inside the tunnel.
That's inside the tunnel, and that's the working crew. They have to be able to tighten the joints within the facility. It's not just the drilling part. So you actually have workers that need to position the place. So it's not all automated. It's actually, there's some workers that have to do actual.
Is that like a platform that goes up and over as a part of, that moves?
Like a little bridge, yeah, it's on a rail and it moves.
And it moves with it.
Yeah.
So when it's completed, is the whole tube gonna be filled with this sewer?
Well,
Whatever.
it's not a sewer anymore.
It's
The
not.
water's clean. It's clean water.
Okay, so the whole, it's gonna be
It's gonna be full to the top.
full to the top. Oh,
So, just a fun fact, one of the questions that we get asked is, why can't you just put a drone in there in the existing tunnels and see how it looks? Well, that was tried back in 2005, and that the water leaves so fast that the camera, the tether got lost.
wow.
And it's somewhere there. So that's why that didn't work. And in this case, it's also because the water is flowing full. So that's why it's gonna flow pressurized, pretty much.
Wow.
This video right here just shows you, I showed you what it looked like inside the tunnel. And this is just the little rubber tire gantry vehicle, that's how you're able to move equipment in and out, including workers, to get them to the front of the working face of the project. So you're not gonna make them walk for miles. They get a little car and you drive them around.
So they enter at your site? They enter at the site in Carson?
Yeah, so that's what by design, if our site in Carson is the access shaft, so that's the main shaft, and that's where all the equipment goes in or out, and including our crews and our
How
work.
many crew do you have on site on every day or on a regular basis?
There's about 30 people on the site working every
They're
day.
down in.
Not in the tunnel,
Not
it's
in-
probably a lot less. There's on the side above, because the site itself has construction or, related to the drilling, to the mining operation above ground, plus also inside underground as well. But this, the crew is there actually, there's actually 3 shifts, so morning, night and swing shifts. So there's crews at different times. So overall, we have around 100 employees.
In operation.
But it's split into crews, the 8-hour crews.
So it's 24/7?
Almost, it's 24/6, so we do. And on the 7th day, we do maintenance, so.
The drilling machine needs lunch.
It needs lunch, it needs maintenance. I think one of the things is like you're there, you know, you just keep everything up and running and stuff, so. So on the 7th day, we do.
And remind me, please, will this, it seems to me this was replace 2
Two tunnels, yes. So the original tunnel is an 8-foot tunnel. Well, the 2 original tunnel, one's an 8-foot tunnel and one's a 12-foot tunnel. So combined, they're there.
Outside has
10 and 15. So this tunnel has enough capacity to replace both and then some to be able to provide for additional capacity during a storm event. So it's gonna be able to replace both once it comes out.
Yeah, no, I just.
Are there plans for
He still has his hand up.
the old ones?
To be, so the plan is to be able to inspect them and be able to see what that looks like. We can't really commit to repairing them. We don't know what we're gonna find. They need to be drained first. So that's actually one of the action items of some of our engineering team is working on coming up with a plan with how to inspect, what are we looking for, and then have a plan, depending on what we find, how to refurbish them if they need to be refurbished. Did you have a question, sir? Oh, the same one. Okay.
That was a good
We've got another question.
Right, do you have a question?
Craig?
Greg?
We can answer
Maybe not.
questions at the end.
you
Yeah.
can bring it up
Okay.
again.
So now that brings us to, actually, I don't even know why it went that fast, but there's supposed to be another video here, another image here. But, oh, it's okay. There was supposed to be a video here, so, Royal Palms, so we're making our way towards Royal Palms. We're not near Royal Palms yet, we're still 3 miles away, we're gonna get there. But what's gonna happen at Royal Palms? Well, our new tunnel needs to connect to our manifold structure so that the water can then be released into the ocean. And remember, this is clean water. So this picture that you're seeing here is actually showing our property, the sanitation district has at Royal Palms. And what you're seeing is that little gray areas. It's showing you exactly what is our manifold structure. The manifold structure just connects the tunnels to the outfalls. The tunnels carry clean water, the outfalls are it's the pipe that lies along the bottom of the ocean just to release that water out. So you need to be able to connect our new tunnel in there. And I realize that a lot of people don't know what the manifold structure looks like, but courtesy of Glenn, I was able to take this video. He didn't want me to show this before. He's probably too shy, but now he's not here, so he's gonna be okay. I did this video just to show you what is in there. When you go there, it's just the gate and the hatch on the floor. So we're gonna walk down there together just to give you guys an idea of the size and the magnitude of the infrastructure there. And if you're having a hard time following, follow this one right here. So yes, I'm following Glenn there. Let's see. He looks the same, but so these are what we're seeing is actually the 4
Retirement home.
Yeah. So what he's pointing out is our different outfalls. Again, the outfalls we actually have 4 outfalls. You have 2 tunnels that carry the water to the beach, but the 4 outfalls are what actually release the water into the ocean. So those are actually that's our largest outfall, 120-inch wide outfall. I'm barely 5 feet, so I probably fit in there. It's really big, but pretty much that wall that he's touching right there, all our structures have to be tied in behind that wall. So there will be a bit of construction that has to get done, and that's what he's explaining right now. I'll show you guys the next slide. So our new tunnel is gonna come in. You see that's the orange line there, and it's gonna come sideways. So we need to be able to reconfigure our manifold structure to be able to tie it in. But you have, in order to be able to tie it in, you have to be able to divert the bypass. You have to be able to dry it out and reconfigure our flow. So there will be some work of oil palms. We are expecting that work to take about 2 years to be able to complete, because now we see how big the structure is. So we have to divert the water and then build a new structure and then put the water out in the new, from the new tunnel. A question, sir?
Yes, please. When you get to that point where you're starting to work on the beach and then you build that fence around the area, could you look into the possibility of figuring out some kind of a material that could make the fence transparent so that people could see through it? Because the way it is now, it's just a spectacular coastal view and the fence would completely block it. But if you could see through it, then that would mitigate that quite a bit.
The fence, my understanding is the fence is only 30 feet, so it's not gonna be infinitely high. If you make it see through, you're gonna be.
It's gonna go around the area.
It's gonna go around our property.
Yeah.
So you're.
But it's still gonna be tall enough to block people's view who are
No,
walking.
because there's nothing behind it. The homes are up on the bluff. So there's no homes.
I'm not talking about the homes, I'm talking about people down at Royal Palms who are going down there to enjoy the tide pools and the beach.
Yeah, no, let me see, explain it better. Maybe this one shows it right here. So my understanding is the fence is gonna be in front of our property line, but not in front of the shoreline. So you should still be able to see the beach. Is that your question?
Well, no, it's like the view, like, for example, anywhere, for example, in the low part of that picture,
You mean looking this way? That way?
yeah, looking west,
Yeah.
looking west, like through
Through
that
the-
area,
yeah.
that fence cuts off like 2/3 of the view if you're, anywhere except on the other side of it.
I have not heard of any, well, this is the first time I hear there's an interest that, so I can certainly take that back to our team, but.
I mean, you can start the fence, obviously, to protect the space, but if there's a way that you could make it out of some kind of material that you could
How long do you think
see
the
through,
process is gonna take?
solve that problem.
Build a fence or two?
No, to
That's a
complete
2 year,
that.
that's a
That's a 2
2
year
year.
project.
So that's separately from the tunneling. The work that has to be done to connect it there will be about 2 years, yeah.
When will you start that?
That's not expected to start until next year,
Next year?
yeah.
2020.
Some time to think about it, yeah.
James, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Will Clearwater project maintain the fence exterior from gang tagging, anything like that, or will it be a long process? We need real-time, everyday maintenance of erasing the gang tagging. That's a beautiful art mural fence you have, and the gangs don't do art mural. So they will hit that fence heavy, and the community will have to look at it daily. And I don't know if we have to go through some political process to maintain that fence.
No, I don't, I can definitely see your concern, but we would definitely make sure that if there's any tagging, that it will be removed. I don't think we need.
That might be another consideration for an open fence, since it would be difficult.
And they'd be a lot less likely to try.
Originally, it wasn't supposed to be a fence, more of a sound wall to protect the noise from the construction noise. So it wasn't supposed to be a visual fence. But as you can see, it's an open space, right? So how much sound, so it's meant to be a buffer / fence. But we certainly could consider that, and I can pretty much say that if there's any tagging, we could replace it, provided the material allows itself to be painted, because if we do clear wall, then it's gonna take them. I can't commit to a clear wall, but there was supposed to be some
Waller.
sound buffer. Clear water with a clear wall.
That's not gonna be terribly effective at
Couple of questions.
stopping sound transmission. But
When you're doing construction there, will you be doing it for more than 8 hours a day?
No, there's not supposed to be 8 hours a day, but they're supposed to be there only Monday through Friday so that the beach is accessible during the weekends for the community. So there will be no construction over the weekend.
But more than 8 hours a day?
No.
Okay, and the other, I'm trying to get my head around some of the elevations, because the manifold is basically below sea level, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's about 30 feet below sea level. So they're gonna have to be able, before we even get to build the manifold, you're gonna have to have a mini shaft site in there just to be able to get to that level.
How do you get the water out of there?
Well, that's why the wall is behind the wall. The work is behind the wall. But fun fact about the Clearwater project, it's actually all below ground. It's all below water work. So we're already used to that. They usually partition the water and pump it out.
That's the question. Have you, when you designed it, you engineered it, did you take into account the possibility of sea rise?
Yes, that's actually one of the, that is actually one of the considerations, and the way the tunnel is, it's slanted to be able to come from low tide and high tide, and there will be a pump if the water backs in, that we be able to pump it out with water.
Thank you.
Was there another question? I thought I saw a hand. Yeah. Well, that was it. That was it.
Thank you.
And then this is just, I know, I wish my video wasn't buffering, but you can look at this one.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look super pretty. It's right here. And again, thank you. If there's ever a need for an update or anything, you can contact Claudio and stuff. And then I wish I could
Appreciate it.
come and give some.
Is anyone interested in the details on that tour?
Sure. Yeah, I saw it somewhere. That's why I mentioned it.
You know, I'm just gonna stay right here and put the flyer on the Zoom link.
Oh, okay.
Will you guys be able to access it from there? Okay. I'll just take a minute.
It looks like James Campo has his.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yes.
same? Okay.
Yes, I
One
did
more?
a follow-up question, if it's okay.
Sure,
Uh,
go ahead.
Maria, you said no construction on the weekends. Will there be security there or to detail, make sure weekend is a long time to have, killer K's, whatever number the gang messaging on there. Will the Clearwater be having a security there, or would they be able to respond to graffiti tagging on the fence over the weekend? Thank you.
I don't anticipate having any security there full time, especially over the weekend, but I do think our construction crews will be able to repair some tagging if it did happen. We can wait till the Monday after. But that's a good question. I from everything that I said, I have not heard of having security there.
Thank you.
You may want to think
Maybe
about
I
it.
have to pay the.
Okay, so bring it up.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for your time. I'm gonna put the flyer on the Zoom thing.
Thank you. It was
great.
great update. What's vandalism of the materials too,
Yeah.
because it's so hidden down there. A lot can go on.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. I just need a minute to. I'm gonna stop sharing too. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. I see Pamela joined. Media. So.
Is she here?
No, there she is.
She's virtual. So we're gonna move on to our next item, which is update on from CD 15. Pamela, are you able to join us? Pamela?
A step away, just.
She was.
Yeah, you know, just step.
That was the report.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so hello, everyone. I'm Pamela Thornton from Councilman McOscar's office. So I know that you had some project status updates that you would like me to go over. I sent it to you via email a little while ago because I had to leave the building. They had like a fire test or something, so I had to scramble out really quick. So I don't know, Javier, did you get that?
I was not able to look at it while we were in the meeting, so I'm sure I have it, but just haven't looked at it.
Okay, I'll go over the first item. Hot topic is the status of the One San Pedro project.
Yep.
As of today, there is still an outstanding concern that's been expressed by HACLA to our office regarding the status of vesting rights is what the goal is. We, Councilman Gosper and I, have a meeting next week with Director of Planning, Vince Bertoni. I did speak with Zoe today, and she confirmed that their team, the HACLA team, has a meeting with planning tomorrow. So right now, we don't have anything more to provide for that update other than internal meetings are happening and we're trying to get to a solution. We understand the timing at this point is almost in critical path. We understand the need to move this forward so that the timeline connects so it won't impact funding potentially for the project. So I understand that there is a concern about why the specific plan that was drafted and submitted was never moved forward. So there are a lot of questions, and we're trying to get to the root cause of what the issue is, and then moving forward to have an actual resolution that protects the project and moves it along. So that's where that stands on that end. Are there any questions regarding that?
Pamela, I do, when you say HACLA has an issue with vesting rights, what does that mean?
They want vesting rights. So because the specific plan, if in fact, I should say, the specific plan was in place, whatever would have been approved at that time would have protected the project based on the zoning and other protections for the project without requiring a lot of additional requirements, like potentially now that if we don't come up with a solution, I'm being told that everything is going to be based on recode, which has different zoning classifications and may be in direct contradiction to the EIR that was already submitted.
It's the problem.
Right.
So Pamela, I'm very confused.
So am I. So am I, but go ahead.
We went through months, if not years, of outreach, planning, input. This plan was developed. I don't understand how the planning department is going away from a plan that the community worked on together. I mean, they did quite extensive outreach to develop that plan.
Well, okay, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of it because I haven't been in the loop, right? And as a new office, we weren't involved, right?
Right.
But so we're trying to get to the bottom of it. So it's twofold. To answer the question like you've raised, to understand why the specific plan was put on hold. But at this point, the specific plan is not an approved document. From my assessment, even if we were to move forward or really push to have this specific plan moving forward, realistically, what is the timing for that? Is that realistic? Can we even do that? And so those are the type of things that are going to be ironed out when we have this meeting, because I don't understand how the project had gotten this far without all that stuff being ironed out, right? So I'm trying to understand where the hiccup is and how we can move this project forward without it being delayed. And that's what the councilman is very concerned about.
For good reason.
We have a comment here from Lee.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
I had a conversation with the city attorney about this project. And
right.
She said that she had sent a letter in support of approving this project under the current plan. And that it seems to me like she's at odds with Bertoni on whether or not they can even go to a recode. Especially, how can you go to a recode? It's not even ratified yet.
It's not a person.
Yeah, and that's
we
kind of
what we have today.
same thing. Yes, I agree. But then too, if in fact it's not recode, the specific plan, if that's the better option for the project, right? Versus what the current zoning currently is. So see, that's what's fuzzy. And I'm trying to come up with an action plan that makes sense, because right now I understand what everybody's saying, but at this point, there is no zoning determination. And whatever that is, oftentimes it takes time. And I'm concerned that the time needed for internal things versus notification for hearing, is all of that gonna align and keep the project on track, even when we get over this hurdle and come to some resolution? So with the city attorney saying that, I agree. But then how do we move them forward? Is this an issue of staffing? I've heard that there have been 5 different planners assigned to this project, and each time the planner, whatever notes or status that they had, that's not taken into consideration, and then the new planner starts over. So all of that doesn't make sense to me, right? So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it, because this is a huge project with money on the line, that might not get funded, right, if in fact we can't meet these targets.
We got a couple of questions, Noel.
Yeah, thanks, Javier. Thanks, Pamela, for coming on the call. You just kind of mentioned that, if we were able to get all of these things ironed out and move more smoothly. The thing is that everything from the beginning has been really well ironed out in terms of the communication with the community, in terms of the proactive engagement with the developer for this project, in terms of the development of the specific plan, specifically to be able to address all of these questions. The only wrench that's been thrown in the works is this last minute change from planning to say, oh, forget about all of that. We want you to conform to this non-ratified recode LA and do everything over and delay the project, which is a 10 to 15 year build out anyway, another few years, maybe, if they could ever get the recode thing approved. And if people don't want to delay that process for however long it could be delayed. So everything is perfectly smooth right now. All planning has to do is basically nothing and let it keep moving forward the way that it is. And next month they can get their hearing and start going. So just kind of have them get out of the way and everything will be fine.
Does this not fall under ED1?
No, I don't think it does. Well, okay, well, that's a good question.
100% affordable.
Right, but it is stalling.
Yeah.
A doubling of affordable housing.
Well, okay, so Lee, that's a question that I have also, but learning from some of the things from Jordan Downs, right? There were some failures with how they rolled that out. I think that may be, I don't know, maybe that's something that they're trying to avoid. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But when I say timing, I'm not referring to all of the legwork that was done. I get that. That's great work. What I'm talking about is for planning to do all of the back end work to get documents ready, maps ready, all of that stuff has to be done before a hearing happens. So when I talked to Lisa Weber, right, she's executive director, she said that, I understand, we understand the priority, and that they were moving forward to get an actual date scheduled. So what is that date? I don't have that date. So these are the things that I'm moving to get to resolution. And I'm frustrated. I know you guys are at your wits' ends, so I apologize, right? But I'm not getting the answers, and I don't understand what the holdup is. Like, is there gatekeeping going on? I don't get it, right? Because this is a huge project. It's a needed project, and we all should be working toward the same goal. And we're trying to
Groundhog Day or Lucy with the football.
Yeah, we're trying to get there because it's frustrating, So initially, at least when you guys emailed me, Elise and Elisa, because it's a Elisa Pastor.
There's two, yes.
Right? Okay. So I got emails from you, both of you, the same day. So I initially was like, oh, okay. it's gonna be scheduled in the summer. So if it's not July, then August.
Right.
You know, that should be fine. But next week is August,
Yeah.
right? And I haven't
It's
gotten
gonna
a
be
date.
November.
Right, but you know, these are the things I understand. I have a better understanding of all of the background information to be able to ask these target questions. Councilman McOsker is also in agreement with all of you that they should have vesting rights, and the rights should be based on the specific
We
plan,
should go to the mayor's office. You know,
right?
So
So
we should go to the mayor's office.
When you spoke with Lisa Weber, did she agree that it could move forward without doing the recode?
well, okay. So when you say recode and they say recode, I think it's two separate things. When they're saying recode, they're trying to align the documents that will match up. It's not that they're necessarily changing from what I was told from Lisa Weber. They're just trying to align some things to make sure that what they present cannot be legally challenged if they miss loopholes. So they want the document to be the document that can stand on its own without gaps or other legal challenges. That's how it was explained to me.
It wouldn't be challenged, just like you said, the Coastal Act of 1976. So if you build a project that conforms with the Coastal Act, and then, you know, they make an amendment 10 years later, it doesn't get challenged because the amendment came 10 years
Rely
later.
on, yeah, that document.
Especially if the recode hasn't been finalized, so there's no document to follow at the moment.
So that's what's happening. So, you know, that's the information that was provided to me, right? So we are on it. There is no, we're not just leaving it on the shelf.
Yeah,
we want action, and we want an understanding of how to move this project forward timely. So that's what we're doing. So we'll be having our meeting next week, early next week. HAPA will be meeting tomorrow.
And you'll let us know what happens at your meeting?
Excuse me?
You'll let us know what happens at your meeting?
Yeah, I will. I will.
If this kind of is in the same position next month, when we have our meeting on the 28th, maybe see if
next month is too late. We need information
to
get us moving. No, it's not putting it back to next month. No, that's unacceptable.
Pamela. Thank you.
That's encouraging.
Okay, let's go on to the next thing.
Okay, because we could talk about that forever, right?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
So I want to let you know that oftentimes when you're asking me for status of some of the development projects, not all developers are like Bill. Not everybody follows up with us and tells us anything. Or when I get the information from either the planning staff or from building and safety as to who the applicant is, I reach out, I can't get any information, right? So the same with Oddfellows, never have reached out to them until like a week or two ago. I was just trying to figure it out. Nobody knows anything. I know Amanda says there may have been some work done recently, but the detail of it, I don't know that. The boutique hotel off Pacific, we never have gotten any updates about that project. So those two projects, I don't have anything. So I know the chamber, you guys might have more information, but I haven't had any contacts with them. They're not.
No, you're correct, Pamela. They actually spoke to a fellow developer who's working here in town, and they said their finance going through the process, yada, 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 but they won't respond to us. They won't respond.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I don't have any information on that. Okay. When I get information, I will share. Okay, so the next project, Vivo on Harbor, is 85% complete. They will start leasing next month, and those tenants should occupy the property by November 2024.
Which property?
The one at Fifth and Harbor that Trammell.
So that's the grinder property.
Yeah, the grinder property, yes.
It's called Vivo on
Nice,
Harbor.
yeah, it does, he's doing a good job.
That's the actual name. Okay, so the Green Onion project, that's also Tremble and Crow.
Yep.
That project is moving forward. It's in planning now. There were some updates to the design. So now they're gonna have to do some adjustments to the application. So it's there, but it's slow.
Pamela, Alex thinks he has to go back to Harbor Area Planning Commission on the Green Onion project.
He might, if in fact that design adjustment requires amendments to the application, he might need to do that. That may be true. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so those are those two projects. What else was it?
Anything else, Diana, on your list?
I think that's it. I wanted to follow up, Diana, with housing element. I am also going to be meeting with planning tomorrow, and I'm going to be going over the housing element. So I will provide updates regarding that outcome as well.
Great.
Are there any other questions?
Is there anything else happening that we should be aware of?
Oh, it's so much happening, but it's not necessarily Pedro based. But just so you know, so Sergio is leaving our office.
Sergio's leaving.
Yeah, he's leaving our office. His last day is next week. He's going to be second in charge of the Boys and Girls Club of America here. So we're grateful because they still are community partners.
Yeah.
But for the efforts of our office, I'm going to be out more because typically I'm in the office, I'm at City Hall. So in between time, you'll see me more. So if things are going on, please let me know, invite me out, and I'll do my best to update my calendar so I can attend these things. But I'm also very busy because the Harbor LA Community Plan is due to go to hearing soon. And I need to make sure that I'm managing that as well. So that includes the Wilmington Harbor City side, and then the Gateway, both Harbor Gateway North and South. And that document has the new zoning. So all of that language is new zoning categories that they're working on the San Pedro zoning update, and all of that's going to have that same language. So in the meantime, if you don't see me as much, that's why I'm buried in meetings or trying to make sure I get language correct and, you know, recommendations. So that's quite a huge task. We have been successful in getting the interim control ordinance that was in the Wilmington Harbor City area, actually have a truck ordinance that went into effect the first week in July that replaced that interim control ordinance, and it had most of the same language with some amendments to it. So we were able to be successful for that. So that's a win. So we're just moving along, trying to make sure West Harbor stays on track with their CUB applications for the alcohol. So that's another thing. Still getting a lot of inquiries about Crown Plaza.
What type of inquiries?
Just interested in knowing if it's for sale, what we would want to see, you know, those kind of things. But our position is we wanted to remain a hotel. We need a hotel. We wanted to remain.
Thank you.
Hey, Pamela, what was your comment on the interim control ordinance again? I'm sorry, what was that
The
about? I missed that.
the ICO was due to expire in July.
Wilmington.
I worked with the planning department and we actually created a truck ordinance, and that was adopted that replaced the ICO. Why was that significant? It was significant because under our administration, we inherited that. It can only be extended twice. So it was due to expire. If it had expired, then there were companies, truck companies, all kinds of different truck uses that were waiting to get in to submit application for truck uses. So that would have gone against what the councilman and his pledge to the Wilmington community specifically about reducing truck trips and some other incompatible uses next to residential. So we were able to get that done.
Do you have any updates or status of what's going on with the Mellow Act ordinance?
No, not that one. I don't have any updates on that, but I can check. I will check and I can let you know. Because I have a meeting with planning tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Yes.
I have a question, Pamela, back to the Green Onion. Are they gonna run into a problem with recode?
I don't
they
think
don't
they
run into the
should.
same problem.
Well, I don't think they should because their paperwork is in. But I will verify that. I'll verify that. But they already are in and they have status even though they need to amend it. And I'll find out the legality and understand how they get vesting. Yeah. Because they've already started that process. So that shouldn't affect them. Yeah.
Great. Any further questions, Pamela?
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so Diana, item 5 and 6.
Well, we could do 5 if you want, or we can wait. Jason couldn't come tonight. Number 5 was the letter to Janet Pond that Jason wrote. And if we want to take
Is there a timing issue?
No,
or
we could wait.
okay.
Just put it over to the next one.
Let me let Jason.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let me
next.
talk about it.
If you get a chance to watch the video, it's referenced in here. It's really a good video.
Oh, okay. I did not. Okay, watch video.
Very on the back page, right towards the end, it has the link to the YouTube.
Okay.
Really interesting video on how they approach transit, which makes a whole lot more sense than the way we approach it here.
Okay.
It was successful in the city room.
And it's not like we haven't been talking about that issue for years.
In Helsinki, yeah. It was in Helsinki and it was a sort of a similar situation to LA in the way it had been built out. So there was a lot, it's really interesting.
Okay.
Check it out. All right, so we're then gonna table 5 and 6, and we're gonna move on to item 7, which is updates on items of interest to the committee.
Yeah, the first one is the ED1 revisions. They did revise Executive Directive 1, and they did get a way to protect the HPOZs, which is something I know we went on record as well to protect. And it also protects any historic properties identified in the San Pedro CPIO.
Oh,
interesting. They added some design standards, and they asked that it's asking planning to create a public dashboard of all projects seeking approval under this directive.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so we would know that that's interesting.
Okay.
The next two are just what it says on the agenda. Anything to add to them? Both of them, thanks to
Adele's investigative work.
Yes. They both could show what was interesting is that the one at 1309 to 1337 South Pacific, it was approved for just around 100 units, if I remember right.
Mhm.
And it's being advertised for sale as having the potential for 234 affordable units.
They'll have to redo the whole project in order to do that.
81, yeah, well, but they
Maybe
would
not.
not do the streamlining,
Yeah.
Mhm.
all those streamlined things, so it's very different than the project that we saw and were excited about, for those of us who are excited about it.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Curious about that. If the private lawsuits hadn't been filed, what was the timing? Are we going to suffer once more because of unintended consequences?
Potentially.
And may I ask, what is exactly the settlement? Why aren't we seeing what the settlement?
I have asked to see if we can understand what the settlement was on those two
Is
lots.
it confidential or is it public information?
My understanding is it might be confidential, but I've asked.
Very transparent.
I don't think
I-
the settlement, I'm sorry.
Oh, you go ahead, Lee.
I don't think the settlement is public. I don't think the corporation that sued the individuals on that corporation are public. And that's part of the problem. That would have been.
Going on.
It's.
Does anybody know anything about it?
Because I really would like to know what that settlement was. How much cash
We need,
that
we need
nonprofit got
transparency on the private
Yeah.
lawsuits.
I think so too.
And Walker's Cafe applied for a coastal permit, you ever read?
Okay.
For the coastal permit. The library's gonna be closing down probably sometime in September for the new roof and then new floors.
I heard new floors. Mona and I wanted to track down potentially new exterior paint. Yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
Once all that work's done.
Hey, Diana. Just a heads up, it's a 1309 to 1331. Just a typo probably.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'd be taking the entire place.
Okay, got
The next one has a typo in it too, it has too many ones. I have 21121.
James, you had a question?
It's in the ocean.
Yes.
211.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Just as a sidebar, Elise, I communicated with her and she's been on with the owner for 1309, but
Yes.
that's going to be in limbo forever. How can we get the mesh down and get a fence around that has many holes in it and get the homeless out of there?
So I know, and Mona maybe has more information. I know Officer Ike was working with the owner of 1309 on the moving out the homeless that are on the property, removing the debris, getting that piece cleaned up. And then I did talk to him about the netting, dust control, other materials. So James, I will get back to you on that work in progress and I'll huddle with Mona too. Because we were gonna see maybe if with a donation, if CPR could go in there and clear out the site. But I hear you, James, work in progress. I don't mean to put you off.
I appreciate it. It's just, that thing's not going to have any, it's benchmark is the, Fifth and Mesa, very clean project. We can all see through there. And that's the way these projects should be because they're standing a long time. And they shouldn't be.
I understand, and I agree with you, James. There's a little different dynamic in homeless population moving up and down Pacific versus what downtown. But I'm totally on board with you, and I know Mona is too, and we need to get that cleaned up.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then the draft CHIP ordinance, they've come out with a revised ordinance and they made some changes in it. One of them was remember the opportunity corridor transition areas, the idea that between the high buildings and the single family, there would be well, they've added a third tier.
Oh.
And so what they've done is they've taken and they've added more distance. So the ones that are closest to the higher rises, they would be able to go up to 16 feet, 16 units. The ones that were within 250 feet of an opportunity corridor. And then it would go out to the 500 feet, which would be 10 units. Previously, that was at 150 feet. So now it goes out to 500. And then 750 feet would be the 6 units. So it would go down, down, down.
More aesthetically pleasing.
Different from, well, actually allowing more heights closer.
Yeah.
And pushing out further into the single family area. And then in the faith-based ordinance, they made the change that had been requested by the community in terms of a faith-based organization that wanted to build in a single-family area, they had to own the property at the time of the ordinance, so that you didn't have people coming in and after the fact, so that's
See a recode in the future.
that's in the draft ordinance. There's a public hearing tomorrow night on the draft ordinance. It'd be great if somebody could listen to it. I know some of us can't. But there is a public hearing tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, I know we have our mixer tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I saw that
same
notice.
time.
But I do know folks that will be listening, so I'll see what comes out of it. I know Biz Fed's on that call with their team, so.
And Thomas, can you or at least say anything about what happened at the port, the president's meeting at the port with regard to the PAIP? I noticed that was.
Well, they canceled the last one.
Yeah, we had, Judah, but I'm trying to think back 2 months ago.
Is there an update on that?
Wasn't much of an update, it was acknowledgement, and they hinted they'd kind of decided on 2 big projects, but they didn't name the projects. I can't.
Okay, oh, that's right. Lee has to walk.
They did appreciate the feedback.
Yes.
I hope it was acknowledged. I appreciate what, what we did in particular. But then when I wanted to know what that meant, I didn't get a very specific answer. And then they canceled the meeting. It was going to be this month.
Right.
But they were just hinting to 2 of the big projects, we're going to take up most of the money. So, and then I felt a little less heard, to be honest, because we wanted to look at maybe smaller projects too. But I also remember at the very beginning, there was a sense that a lot of the way they do the planning, they probably have things set. So the positive interpretation would be if we keep, ongoing, giving input to have him, and even, Tim's mentioned this, I think we'll have a lot more input for next year if we want, medium, smaller size projects.
In starting earlier and working with the council, Mike was gonna huddle with the council office on process and yeah.
So they're telling us what we want to hear in procedural terms, but in terms of specifics, I don't.
I think that I think that parking piece is gonna move forward down there, because I know that's needed by a lot of groups so I don't know, but I bet that's one of them, the big parking project down at 22nd Harbor.
That chew up much money?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to give you a number right now, it's in my notes, but it's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, the big win is this was going to be, wasn't permanent, right? So we have it permanent and lots of money is going to be spent, so.
Yeah. But maybe Mike can say more in September, because that seemed to be when the council office was gonna have their recommendations done. Because I think Mike said they don't have the council office recommendations yet, right? Did I hear that correctly? So maybe we should ask.
Should have asked Apple about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was Sergio's project.
Oh.
So we gotta figure out where that's going. Yeah.
They're evidently looking to hire someone to take his place.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure.
What I heard. Okay.
Very good. Last item, public comment on items not on the agenda.
Does Lee have?
I think he walked over. Lee?
See, I got one.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow night is, council has a chamber mixer at the Feed and Be Fed over on 6th Street. So you can go over there and I guess I'll add some wine and some cookies, some other things maybe.
Paella.
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 Wine, taiko drums, we have flyers, it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna miss it.
It's what, $10, something like that?
$10.
Sorry,
5:30.
It's 10 for chamber members, 15 for non-members.
I think most people in this room can figure out some kind of alignment with a member. But, yeah, no, it should be fun.
Very good.
Gonna be a beautiful evening for it.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town, but it sounds like a fun event.
I have a public comment. Well, I have a public comment, but it's kind of aligned with the whole One San Pedro. I think I'm gonna circle back around with everybody because Noel, I don't know about Coastal, Dana, I don't know about Northwest and Javier Central. I have had no response to the submittal of the letter that we all did by any office or policymaker, public official. And I think for a project.
Welcome to the world of LA City
Right,
plan.
no, but I'm gonna follow up with every single one, and I'm calling the mayor's office, and I just wonder if we should place some calls. I don't want to be hostile or aggressive, but this is probably one of the largest redevelopment projects going through the harbor area.
You should call Tim.
40 years. Tim's on it.
Tim is
But-
really upset. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
Tim is really upset with planning. I was in a meeting with him, something else, and he went off on planning on this issue.
But I
He's
guess,
not the one we need to put.
I'm,
pressure on.
I'm looking at the mayor's office.
Tim needs to put pressure on planning because
Yes.
if the councilman can't get a response, you're not.
No, but I guess what I wanted to circle back with the
Mayor.
mayor's office
think
and
the mayor.
say, Rachel and Will, I emailed you 2 or 3 weeks ago whenever Will did it. Hello, what is your response?
Ours never went to Rachel Wu because I never got the.
Okay, I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta ask 20 or 30
I'm
times
going
to
to.
sale.
Went to the mayor, but didn't.
Okay, well, then it will go down to Will and Rachel, but it will be,
We online, there's a way to,
yeah, I did that too.
that's how we've done it.
And ours would have gone, but our meeting got canceled.
Wait, what?
The board meeting got canceled,
The board
Or
meeting.
central.
Oh, that's right.
so we couldn't do it.
Is it gonna be on your special agenda?
No,
Okay.
not on the special.
So, yeah, that was gonna happen that time, but didn't.
So much fun being in there.
When's your special meeting? You can put it
I
on.
want to follow up with Elise on this too. This is kind of a lawyer's hat. Elise. Who's being hurt monetarily out of this stall?
So I talked to Patricia this morning from One San Pedro, because I'm on that board, and they're really worried about the grant funding and the timing. Because grant funding is getting so difficult, and they're just worried that the pushing of all these timelines is really gonna impact the funding, financing, and that it's gonna push it out even far. I mean, look what Bill's running into. Their project's more complex. And they're nervous. She told me and I should say, thank you for bringing that, Pat. Patricia said they really want to thank the community for all the help and passion about the project and the input into the city. It's just it's serious.
Grants are seriously contingent on deadlines and, being deliverables.
So two follow.
She said their timing issues, yeah.
Two follow-up issues, and maybe. This came up in some other litigation in which I was involved in my working days. There's two kind of issues here. That's why I asked the question about who's monetarily damaged by this delay. One of those, of course, is the limited contract. It's constitutional issues. You're entitled to the law as it is. They can't stall you. The other one was something I think either you said or maybe Pamela said about staffing issues. There's a case that happened out in San Bernardino where the county cut the budget of the district attorney's office so that it didn't have investigators, and the DA went to court and said, hey, and the court said, it's very interesting, kind of a summary sentence. It said, you can cut muscle, but you can't cut bone.
Right.
And if you're gonna make it impossible for people to you can't lead them on, you can't have a.
Yeah, I don't, this is a weird one to me. I just really don't understand this one. I mean,
Is Diane still close to the?
Mhm.
Maybe we talked to Diane about this.
I have not.
Diane.
Because Dale's been ill, so Diane Middleton, I haven't talked about it.
Isn't the question who gains from this?
Well, you've got non, I mean,
Any harm.
Well, it's tough sometimes to identify who can go to court on it.
Right.
Tim, you're gonna be talking to Tim.
because it's Hackla, and you've got Hackla, you've got Century, you've got, there's like 4 different development
Well,
partners.
somebody's talking to Tim or something like that, they really ought to consider what's called a writ of mandamus to to force the planning department to do?
I think, and I don't know but I just think in talking with different team members, they've been trying to be polite and work it through and not alienate people. And I think now they're at that pressure point. And I don't know. It's just, Elisa Pastor, who's incredibly talented, is an attorney on this.
She would be the one that would.
And she's working it.
Is she a city attorney or she?
No, she used to work with Tim at Glazer Wild.
Okay.
She's phenomenal land use attorney. And they're flummoxed too. It's crazy. They're working all their channels that they can work. And that's why they came out and said something like, we need help.
What's happened to the project that they're doing on Harbor Boulevard?
Oh, the replacement or the interim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had said they said we have to start that by July 1.
I'll ask about that because you're right. I don't know.
It seemed like there was something in their funding that said they.
Yeah, I'll ask about that one. I forgot to ask about the harbor one.
What's the status of the old YMCA changing the subject? Is that still going on or?
You mean Harborview?
Yeah, Harborview.
Yeah, the Afaris are gonna do a ribbon cutting and opening in the fall. To Bill's point, you've got Harborview opening and those two all opening in November of 2024.
You know, it had been a concern of mine. I asked one of the developers at one point if they weren't concerned about oversaturating the market.
Yep, I remember
because there was so much happening at the same time. That seemed to be in the kind of the same kind of price.
People love brand new.
They do.
But it's a lot.
Really love brand new.
And as I try to look at affordability for that, for the young people that I see getting their degrees, and you need to make 96,000, which some of my grads get, but a lot don't to afford the one bedroom. So, it is a lot. And then as we're learning about the transportation issues, because they're probably not going to find those jobs here in Pedro. Luckily, we've got a diverse economy, so there are some jobs in good paying jobs that don't require college degrees, but would make me nervous I've met him before. It sounds, really good at what he's doing, but I'd be a little bit nervous, right? I mean,
I'm sure he is.
And with the economy.
They take roommates, or it's a guy and a gal, and a guy, gal and a gal.
But it seems like more and more people are staying at home because you're saving even more money, right? The average age at which people are moving out.
Or they're looking for that older apartment that people are vacating for the newer one, because there's a lot of people looking in that 1,800 a month to 2,200 a month, which is really hard to find if it even exists.
Build equity, so you're coming to the condos as
yeah.
line too, with the sense of the stream.
So realistically, a 700 square foot, slightly higher studio lot,
That's
no
a
bedroom.
3-bedroom, what do you mean for 700 square feet?
That's 2,200. So when you're saying 2,000 for one bedroom, that's not happening. Not brand new.
That's why I was trying to get a sense of what his projections
Yeah.
were, because then I went and looked to Redfin because I felt like I should know that. And I didn't know what I was looking
But
for.
I think one of these developments should cater to the higher end. There are wealthy
The mixed income, yeah.
They all are.
I definitely should.
No, that's why I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to
All right,
join the
well-
meeting.
And then chat.
I'm gonna close the
Okay,
public
yes,
comment
we can talk.
section,
public comment thing.
and I'm gonna end the meeting.
Okay.
Our next meeting is August 28th.
And I'm still trying to find a buyer for the cute little shopping center at 9th and Gaffey. Jay's next to the library with the Baskin and
Yeah, they have
Robbins.
to bring the price down.
I know, but that is such a cute center and has such potential, and we just need to get
Keep the
that.
Baskin and Robbins.
It has to be.
Stay, he's been there 30 years, the nail salon's. been
Okay,
there
good night,
30 years.
everyone.
We just need to get rid of the vape shop. They have a year left on